FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
Welcome. You are listening to the Financial Survival Network. I'm Kerry Lutz, and today is April 8th, 2020. Well, the world will survive the pandemic. That is, if we can just get the politicians to back off. You know, the worst thing is, I am here from the government. I'm here to help you. And, well, they promised all sorts of help so far, stimulus, everything else. And I'm sure if you're a large corporation like Boeing, your stimulus has already arrived. But if you're Joe Sixpack, or you're a lawyer, a doctor, or small business person, you run a gas station, a bodega, a convenience store, your stimulus payments have been tied up by bureaucratic idiocy and red tape. The government wants you to have the money. It's just the bureaucrats can't figure out how to get you the money. That problem will be solved shortly. But in the meantime, how do you decide what business is essential and should stay open during the pandemic and who should close? Well, if you're in Colorado, that is a much more difficult question. And we're going to talk about that. And what businesses do you think are essential? Liquor stores, cannabis stores, banks. My UPS store is essential to me because otherwise I'm not getting any mail. They're open. Well, it's an interesting question. And Walmart, Target are essential, but yet they sell general goods. There's something wrong here. I want your opinion. I want to know what you think. Just email me, kl@kerrylutz.com, kl@kerrylutz.com. In the meantime, I've got Mike Pachan here, and Mike, Colorado has determined that cannabis stores are essential to the well-being of the populace.
Yeah, yep, that's right. We are an essential industry, up and running, and the industry's doing pretty well right now. So glad to be a part of it and glad to be bringing a benefit to the good people of Colorado.
All right, so cannabis, how did they come to that decision? How did they decide that it was essential?
Yeah, sure. So I'm not, I'm going to look for a baseline of your understanding, of cannabis throughout the conversation, but to, just kind of broad stroke it here. The cannabis industry in Colorado is a massive part of our economy, our stable economy. We're one of the top drivers of tax revenue for the state. And then beyond that, from just health and wellness purposes, a significant portion of the Colorado population rely on cannabis and or hemp therapies for health and well-being for their day-to-day needs.
So it's kind of ingrained, and that's interesting because I think it was legalized in 2013, 2014. So in 6 years, it's become that vital to the state.
Well, it's actually the original legislation came through around 0809 for medical dispensaries. You saw those start to emerge in 2009 through 2010. Recreational cannabis went live on January 1st of 2014. So we're over 10 years in with some type of legal or accessible cannabis, whether it be medical or recreational.
Yeah. So business, I assume, is still booming in the cannabis industry?
Yeah, it's doing pretty good. 2 weeks ago, we saw a big run on product because people were just unsure of what was going to be deemed essential versus non-essential. That run lasted about a week and a half. The mayor of Denver actually came out and announced that he was going to declare recreational dispensaries non-essential as well as liquor stores. That lasted less than 3 hours. And then they reversed the decision and opened up access to liquor stores as well as recreational dispensaries. So not everybody was completely on board with this. But look, what's essential and what's not. You go into a Target or a Walmart and they've got like tons of food there, right? Aisles and aisles of food. So in that regard, they're similar to a supermarket. But then they've got clothing, electronics, DVDs, video games. I guess video gaming really is an essential industry
in the current lockdown. We've gotten a little crazy about what's essential and what isn't, haven't we?
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next.
Arcana Corporation is on the verge of bringing the world's highest grade silver mine into production. The Revenue Virginius mine in Colorado has proven improbable silver reserves grading nearly 37 ounces per ton silver, with an all-in sustaining production cost of only US $8 per ounce of silver. The mine is fully permitted with infrastructure already in place, and the company has announced they plan to commence production in 2020. Achieving successful production usually results in a significant upward share price re-rating on the Lassonde curve. Arcana trades under the ticker AUN in Toronto and AUNFF in New York. To learn more, go to arcana.com. That's AURCANA.com.
The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're continuing to define that, right? It's a pretty fluid situation. People are looking at, what can we go out and have access to and do it in a controlled and responsible manner. At the grocery stores up here where I live, in the mountain towns, we're all being pretty respectful of the rules and regulations that are in place. Personally, I had an instance on Sunday where an elderly gentleman didn't want to respect the 6-foot rule. So I let him go ahead in front of me in line just to tamper down the altercation that he was trying to, create there in that situation. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see some things change in the next 4 weeks too. We're prepared for it as a household and an industry, and we're just going to have to kind of go with the flow and make the best of it and see what happens here at the end.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting thing that all you have to do now to get ahead online is just creep up on somebody. I mean, I was in Walmart at the return counter last week, and I know what 6 feet is because I'm 6 feet too. And there was more than 6 feet between me and the person in front of me, and she turned around and said, "Get further back." And it's like, hey, lady, okay. Just relax. We're more than 6 feet, but I took like 6-inch steps backwards, and that was the end of her. And she was a real annoying person anyway. That kind who just can't take yes for an answer. She's returning like 85 items, totally taking up the whole counter, dominating and controlling the return counter, and the kind of person you really just want to wring their neck. But we've all kind of got to get along here, because what's the alternative? We'll be in the streets. Well, what's more essential, toilet paper or cannabis? That's what I want to know. And we've got a global shortage of toilet paper now for no particular reason. But fortunately, we don't have a global shortage of cannabis or even a state shortage in Colorado and the other states where it's been legalized for recreational use.
Sure. I mean, there's absolutely no doubt that cannabis presents itself as a tool and resource for so many people. And a quick Google search, if you type in cannabis in Israel, will pull up dozens of clinical studies. WebMD is now hosting different infographics up on their website and all showing, the benefits, or, as we have to say, the quote unquote, in air quotes, potential benefits of cannabis. But you're looking, that cannabinoids and varying ingredients in the cannabis plant can provide stress relief, mood balance, anti-inflammatory, pain fighting, analgesic, anti-proliferative, so tumor and cancer fighting agents. This title of recreational cannabis that's been slapped on to some of the dispensaries in Colorado is really just a tax, designation. There's actually no one who can split the difference between medical and recreational cannabis. It just can't be done. You can't go into your biological system and say, well, I ate recreational cannabis, so body don't do anything beneficial with those cannabinoids that I just ingested. That's impossible. You can't do that. So there's actually no health difference from a benefit standpoint of medical or recreational cannabis. It's just strictly a tax designation.
Gotcha.
I think that's important to understand.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. Well, I find it kind of fascinating, and to see the industry emerge What do you think is going to happen with big corporations trying to get involved here and trying to dominate, like they have with big pharma and big ag and big tobacco, big alcohol? Do you think they're going to push aside the little guys eventually?
I mean that's a bigger question than just for, someone like myself. I mean, all industries, once they show, traction and solid legs and especially profitability, put themselves in a position to get bought up or bought out, as they evolve and other people want a piece of that pie. But then what does that do, right? That just, spurs innovation from other people. I mean, look at Method Soap. That's a great example of, a couple young entrepreneurs who really had almost no background in that specific industry, although their background led them, to redeveloping products in that space. But that was about as red of a sea as you could, ever imagine. And they were able to break through and create a small glimpse of, blue ocean in the Red Sea and capitalize on it. And then eventually, as we all know that story goes, they were bought out for several $1 billion. So yeah, it's coming. Hemp before cannabis, CBD is caught national legs faster and outpaced the growth of THC only because, CBD can be labeled as less or non-intoxicating, although there's some euphoric effects with CBD where THC carries that stigma of, high or euphoria. Mm-hmm. So the CBD is definitely well on its way. Big money is already, here and looking to begin acquiring some companies, where THC is going to take, a little bit more time and effort to break through that stigma and loosen up people's mindset about, what that intoxicating, so to speak, effect does, but, more to the point what it doesn't do. And, yes. And that's just fine with someone like myself. I enjoy the space as it is. It provides a lot of opportunity for small businesses. We're out here hustling and doing our best, but I think the natural progression of any industry is, things start to get bought up, bought out, rolled up, and then new opportunities emerge from there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's true. And I don't know. I just don't see what the big companies really bring to the table in the cannabis industry other than sophisticated branding, maybe consistency of product. But I think that's something that's making progress with the smaller companies, the ability to invest large resources. I know there are benefits, but on the other hand, the industry or the demand in the market was supplied illegally for close to 80 years. And I'm just not sure what the legal providers, large scale, the Philip Morrises really can bring to the table. But I guess it's an emerging market. We'll find out about that soon enough. Hey, if people want to find out more about you, Mike, and connect with you on the web, where's the best place to go?
Yeah, so 2 websites. I'm an owner operator of 2 small businesses. The CBD company that I have a stake in is Mountain Made, MADE, mountainmade.life. My other small business in the cannabis space, I do business development advisory. I help build out brand message and get them placed in distribution channels in the wholesale network here in Colorado. That company is Pachan, Pachan Ltd, mpachanltd.com. Those are the 2 areas that I'm currently functioning in the cannabis and hemp space. I start to kind of roll them together. They're definitely separate, especially from a regulatory standpoint, but
sure.
They're cousins of each other. The plants are very similar.
All right. Excellent. Well, we'll have a link in the show notes to this interview on Financial Survival Network. Curious to hear your opinion, what you think about cannabis being deemed an essential industry. Why don't you write me, KL@KerryLutz.com. That's KL@KerryLutz.com. Twitter feed @KerryLutz, Facebook page, Financial Survival Network, and of course our home site, financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Mike, really appreciate you coming on, and good luck making it through the pandemic.
Kerry, thank you so much for your time. Best of luck to everyone out there listening. And if you have any questions, shoot me an email. Would love to chat further on it.
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.